Oh, hello there. Didn't see you there. What am I doing? Oh, it's funny you should ask. I've been working on this map that you see before yourselves today, actually. A few days ago, I had this idea. Um, Let me give you background here. You know about the World News project that I've been talking about? Maybe. Just like the war in Ukraine and Gaza, I wanted to cover the entire world in the same format, the news of the world. But it quickly dawned on me that that's too big a project. I don't even know what to search for to get all the information, and I want to do it justice. I also want to do the de facto world map justice that I was working on in preparation for that video, but halfway through South America, I've sort of lost ambition, gave up, and because I'm a perfectionist when it comes to mapping, and mapping all the Brazilian uncontacted tribes that are de facto independent, that wasn't really possible. So I lost interest and had this idea instead. So instead of scrapping that project entirely, I'm transforming it into this. I'm going to be cover, let's call it the Second Cold War, just like I do with Ukraine and Gaza, because in addition to these two, the wars in Sudan, Yemen, Syria, they're very much connected. So was the Nigerian crisis and the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. If you're a bit generous and not too picky, and this is an oversimplification, I grant you that, and more on that later. But if you're a bit generous, not too, but it's pretty easy to make a case that all of these wars are connected and you can place them into two camps, Russia and Ukraine, and then Israel and Gaza, the Rapid Support Forces and the Sudanese government, the Houthis and the rest of the Yemeni factions. You can divide them into their own Western friendly and Eastern friendly blocks, which is what I've done here. So let me show you a bit closer here and tell you about the map. Dark blue, because I know you're already asking yourself, why is Finland dark blue? They're not fighting Russia. Again, this is an oversimplification on a global scale. The reason why they're dark blue, because dark blue and dark red means forces directly involved in the war or conflict. Now, Finland is not fighting Russia here on the border. Neither are there like officially Finnish troops on the ground, just volunteers in Ukraine. But they are involved in Operation Prosperity Guardian, and I don't know how to pronounce the European version of it. Aspides? I don't know. Um, Furthermore, yeah, German troops, French troops, they're all involved in the Red Sea crisis here. That's why they are dark blue. So let's go over the map because that's another thing that the reason why I make this video. I want to pick your brain on it and get your ideas because I'm not sure if I've gotten all the colors right because again it's an oversimplification. A great example is that, as I understand it, Sri Lanka here, they're allied to China against India, sort of. Um, so on a local scale, Sri Lanka should be sort of pink and India should be blue. But if you take the global situation into account, it seems more to me, and give me your thoughts on this. It seems more reasonable to put India as sort of pro Russia leaning, the BRICS and all that, and Sri Lanka would then be blue as they send military aid to Ukraine, if I remember correctly. So it's very complicated, and I want your ideas on which countries should be colored differently. So let's go through them. Um, United States is obviously directly involved in the Red Sea crisis. Also heavily involved in Israel, but you can debate whether it's directly or indirectly. Light blue here, like Mexico, that simply means politically they're leaning towards that camp. So they're not sending military aid to any of these wars here. But politically they support the West. Canada is a bit darker blue. I might change the shades. I see that this light is greenish. Anyways, this middle color of blue, it signifies sending military aid but does not have forces directly involved. All right. Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, they're all leaning. Obviously, we're having this crisis here. What's it called? Essequibo conflict, I suppose. It hasn't flared up yet. It seems to be cooling down, but yeah, obviously they're colored pretty easily, pink and blue. Argentina recently started supporting Ukraine militarily again, I think. I think they took a break or something. They were actually leaning towards the BRICS Eastern Bloc, but the recently elected president, Milei, changed course. I think Brazil should be colored neutrally. They are sort of Russian friendly, but also Russian critical. So right now it seems neutral is the best color. I'm not sure though. Let's go to Europe. All these countries, except for Ukraine, that are dark blue, they're directly involved in the Red Sea crisis. That means they've sent forces, men, ships, something like that. Ukraine and Russia, self-explanatory. Not sure. It's difficult because Hungary and Slovakia, they are EU members, and the EU is sending material to the Red Sea crisis against the Houthis. But they're also quite clearly pro-Russian leaning politically. So I'm torn there. Like, they are also NATO members, but the most Russian-friendly NATO members. So this was my decision. I think pink is the right one. If you disagree, let me know in the comments, and I will take that into account. I'm also unsure whether to color Serbia red or not. They've been fairly critical against Russia regarding the war in Ukraine, but they're also Slavic brothers till the end, and also against Kosovo. So Serbia might be colored pink. I'm not sure. Not sure about Switzerland, if it should be light blue either. Let's see. Again, a bit of an overlap. Some of these countries in Asia and Africa might support Ukraine, but Palestine at the same time. So one blue, one red. I had to make my own judgment there. It's not perfect. Again, it's an oversimplification. Nigeria and Niger, they're not darker for the simple reason that the Nigerian crisis is effectively over. You could argue that it ended in October when the last French forces withdrew from Niger, or it was November perhaps. But sort of the nail in the coffin came late in February, quite recently, when ECOWAS, the light blue ones, mainly Nigeria, lifted their sanctions against Niger, sort of called it quits, and tried to establish friendly relations to get Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Guinea back into ECOWAS to make peace. So that crisis is actually over. So is the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. So quite recently, there are big changes happening. So it would be interesting to make this a weekly series, don't you think? Anyway, South Africa is sending, maybe not, it's unclear, but to Russia, so it's a bit darker. It's no point zooming in, but Gaza is so tiny. But obviously, Israel, Gaza, it's involved in this second Cold War quite clearly. Israel is pro-Western, or rather, the West is pro-Israel, I guess would be more fair to say. I've also colored in this rebel-held territories in Syria, even though that civil war is sort of on hold indefinitely. They're still pro-Western and involved in fighting, I would say. The Sudanese civil war, Russian forces, or rather Wagner forces, are supporting the rapid. I'm drawing a blank on what they're called. Rapid support forces, and Ukrainian forces again are supporting the Sudanese government. So it's definitely a proxy conflict of this second Cold War, I would say. So is the Red Sea crisis. Again, Houthi rebels are attacking Western ships, and I wouldn't call these anti-Houthi Yemeni forces pro-Western. I'm also realizing now that Socotra should probably be blue. I'll have to look that up, but that seems right to me. Iran obviously supports Russia and Palestine and Hezbollah and, well, all of these. Saudi Arabia, again, is sort of, I mean, they support Palestine politically, so they should be pink for that reason, but I would say they're more heavily pro-Western, fairly pro-Israeli for an Arab state, and also quite clearly anti-Houthi. They actually fight against them. So I might even color it dark blue. I'm not sure. Give me your thoughts on that. Moving on here, Pakistan, it's difficult again. They're an ally of China, but they're also sort of fighting against Iran, very low level fighting, a few missile strikes here and there, occasionally. They're also against India and Afghanistan, as I understand it. What else? What else? Sort of torn on Nepal and Bhutan. Should they be light blue? I'm not sure. That's what it seems like to me. Obviously, the Korean War is still on hold. For how much longer, we are not sure. And then the Taiwanese Chinese conflict could flare up during this project, so it will be interesting. As I understand it, pretty much all these Pacific island nations are leaning west, and Australia is sending material to Ukraine. Yeah, that's about it, I think, as I understand it. And New Zealand is simply supporting politically. This is what the world map looks like right now. Again, I made it today. There are errors, and I'm sure you'll tell me. I actually want you to tell me about it in the comments. And so yeah, this was my update. The World News Project has changed. Instead, I will cover this global conflict. And again, this is not certain. The idea is new to me, and again, I made this map today, and I just wanted to pick your brains on it, inform you about the changes, get your ideas, and I'll take it from there. But so far, this seems way more doable to me because I'm already covering 2 of these conflicts. I can keep track on the other proxy conflicts involved in this. Let me know what you think. Thank you for listening to my rambling here, and have a great day.